Well, oh, I can't separate the file once I can separate it. Really, it's put in ever. You know what? I will talk about it. Look, I wanted to talk about breakdown. I wanted to talk about breakdown. What if I just do it like this? What if I just talk about breakdown like this, and discuss it like this? No, okay. So breakdown is breakdown is 1997. Breakdown. In fact, it's actually off Use Your Illusion 2. I think Breakdown's off Use Your Illusion 2, isn't it? Breakdown. Breakdown. 1997. Kurt Russell. And numerous other people in it. In fact, that's why I brought my phone down here so that I could properly refer to the cast. Jiggity jig, clankety clank, cluckety cluck. Let's see how we go there. Let's see what we can do. I made a Google cast now because I wanted to do this properly. The right way rather than saying, oh, Jack Noseworthy. Jack Noseworthy is in it. Look, Breakdown 1997 cast. Here we go. Kurt Russell, J.T. Walsh. J.T. Walsh is really good in it. Heard rumours that he was a really, really nice guy. He played the good bad guy. He played just a good actor, really good actor. Jack Noseworthy, MC Gainey, Rex Lynn as the Sheriff Boyd. Who did I think was really good? I thought that MC Gainey, he played a great bad guy. I thought he was actually quite good in it. If you could just see in there, see the pictures in there. I don't know how good they turn up. That's right. Yeah, exactly. And I thought Jack Noseworthy, I thought he was quite good. Jack Noseworthy is actually, I thought he had a charm about him. He plays Jack Noseworthy. Doesn't play two characters, and this is just putting on something. He's putting this character on. He's just doing this character for the sake of the theme in the movie. What it is Jack Noseworthy. He's really the first time I ever saw Breakdown. He was first time I ever saw Breakdown. First time I saw Breakdown. He Jack Noseworthy. He stood out to me. I thought he had a bit of charisma, had a bit of charm, and actually I only watched Breakdown a couple of nights ago. I watched it 2 nights ago, and I was watching Jack again, Jack Noseworthy. I was watching him again, and I thought, yeah, you're still interesting. You're still interesting. The perspective changes a bit over time, but I thought that, yeah, he's still good. And also that other guy, MC Gainey, is it? MC Gainey? Let's have a look. MC Gainey plays Earl. He's all dressed in black, and he has black long hair. This movie is probably Kurt Russell's worst performance ever, and every time that I watch this movie now, which ends up being periodically, I always say that I'm not going to watch this movie ever again. And once I start going into that other accent, my brain sort of, I start off a little bit wobbly, and then I get into it, and then my brain keeps wanting to do it, you see. The brain says, no, I want you to keep going that way now. And the G, oh, I'm looking for a piece from my pop, from my go-go. Oh, yeah, for a wee piece. Yeah, oh, I'm just looking for my go-go bill. And then my brain gets wide to that, and I just really keep on doing it, you know. But anyway, possibly Kurt Russell's worst, and that's why I say every time I think I'm not going to watch it again. Now, there's so much wrong with this movie, yet it's entertaining. It's entertaining. We start off where we have Kurt Russell and his partner, his wife, on the road in Texas. In Middle America, they're on the road, you see. And she is played by actually Kathleen Quinlan. Kathleen Quinlan. Kathleen Quinlan. Yeah, Kathleen Quinlan. She's good. She's good. J.T. Walsh is very good in this. Now, so look. Okay, so they're on the road. They're driving, and there's a Kurt Russell reaches back. It's not looking where he's going. Earl comes out. He almost sideswipes Earl. That wasn't a problem though. Oh, and also the conversation in the car between Kurt Russell and Kathleen, not the best conversation. I would definitely re-script that, rewrite it. Not the best conversation. They pull into the gas station, okay? They have gas stations over there, not petrol stations. They call it gas, but that's digressing. Pull into the gas station, right? And then Earl has turned up. He approaches Kurt Russell. They have a banter, and I think the first thing that I would do in that situation, but I'm also the fact that with the script, is that I think what the writers have done is they're basing it on past actual events that have taken place, like numerous past similar events that have taken place, and they put together the script that way with things that have already happened. And from my perspective, I'm watching it and think, of course, there wouldn't be a movie. There wouldn't be able to be a movie if what I would do is Earl approaches Kurt Russell, and I would say, "Oh, are you that guy from back there?" He said, "Yes. I'm sorry for cutting you up. I got momentarily distracted. I apologise. I'm very sorry for that. I'm really, really sorry." Kurt Russell doesn't do that. He keeps he doesn't attempt an apology at any time, and Earl gets to him about it, and then eventually Kurt says, "I'm sorry this whole thing took place. I'm sorry it ever happened." Anyway, Earl has Kurt Russell went away from the car. Earl disconnected the wires. Very good. Recording again. Recording again. I used to say that when I was very first starting out on YouTube, and I was a bit wobbly around the edges. I'd say, "Recording again." Okay. I actually recorded this upstairs last night, but it didn't match with this footage. Now, when he's at the gas station, and Earl, when Earl has what I'm trying to say is this: if Earl has taken those wires, unplugged those wires at the gas station, unplugged those plugs, right? Then that car wouldn't have started there. It wouldn't have been able to start. Kurt Russell's car wouldn't have been able to start. Now the thing is, he might have made them a bit loose, so that they made them brought them out a little bit, and so that on the road they came out more. But I don't think that the road would be that bumpy that the wires would. That if the wires left half out, I don't think the road would cause enough bump to. No, he's disconnected them completely at the gas station, but therefore that car would not have started up anyway. So that's another thing, and all creative license really. But they don't make that mistakes. They don't make those mistakes in movies these days. Now they don't make those mistakes anymore because audiences are not gonna. They're not going to. Audience is not going to be good with that. No, they're not. Back to what I was saying, which was that. Yes, it's really warm down here. They're on the road again. They break down. This guy comes back with his truck, and he stops down at the bend. J.T. Walsh turns up in his truck, offers them both a lift. Kurt Russell declines the offer. J.T. says, "This is a break." J.T. actually puts on quite a good act in this. I think he plays it really straight, which is probably what you would do in that situation. He plays a sociopath, sociopath. What it is that that's not. Kathleen accepts the lift. She goes with him, which, you know, okay, you're in the middle of nowhere, and a trucker guy comes along. I wouldn't want my partner going alone. I would join her in that. I wouldn't stay with the car. I would think that she was more important. Like, I wouldn't want to separate in that situation. You just don't want to separate in that situation. But for the sake of the script and the sake of the story, they do. And then she goes that way. Kurt Russell, he sees the wires that have been unplugged. And you know what? Also, I mean, it was made in 1997, yes. I don't know what the writers were thinking, taking a few liberties with this, but I would be thinking, how the fuck did these wires become loose? And I would straight away maybe put two and two together and say, fuck, I was away from my car for 2 minutes, for a minute. That guy came over and disconnected, took them out. We got a problem. He doesn't make that connection. So he goes down to Bell's Diner, and the guy, there's huge spoiler alert, but in Bell's Diner, the guy behind the counter, the guy who owns the place, he's played quite well by, I'll tell you who he's played by. It's quite an interesting, it's an interesting movie if you want to pick out a lot of faults. Sheriff Boy is good. There's this guy, there's an older guy. He's really older now. Jack McGee. Okay? Jack McGee plays a good dodgy bartender. Like, but they're all in on it. No, the sheriff is not in on it. I don't believe that the sheriff is in on it. But you do get a really, in Bell's Diner, the customers in there do represent that. I think they represent that part of America quite well. It's sort of what is it? Muted colours, not muted colours. They're dulled down colours. You know, they're in their groove. They're in their Middle America groove. That's what they know. That's what they do. They're never going to do what they're never going to do. That sounds bad. Never going to do anything else. It has a whole character about it. Quite an interesting character about it. Almost a heavy feel. The bartender says she hasn't been in here, and you can tell that he's not telling the truth. Kurt Russell then, what's he do then? Oh, it is at this point that he goes on the highway, he sees a truck, he pretty much runs J.T. Walsh off the road in his truck. J.T. Walsh at this point says, pal, I don't know how to tell you this, but I've never seen you before in my life. And Kurt Russell's like, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Where's my wife? He says, I've never seen you before in my life. He's like, what have you done with my wife? And anyway, they have that thing. A cop pulls up, right? When the cop pulls up, this is, I think, a major thing in the movie. One of the major things in the movie is there's a huge one later, but we'll go with this one for the time being. Actually, let me see if I'm up to 26 minutes, I have to stop. I'm up to 21 minutes. I've got to stop in 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, now, so this cop, he's asking the right questions and all that, but in that situation, given the information that Kurt Russell's giving him and that J.T. Walsh is giving this cop, the cop looks in the vehicle and he checks the back of the vehicle, but he doesn't go in. Given the information that this cop is receiving, I would search the back of the vehicle, I would check the front of the vehicle, and I would check the side of the vehicle. I would check, or based on that information, I would check everything. But for the sake of the script and to keep the action going, to keep the intent going, to keep the I don't know what that is, to keep it going, to get to the next step. He doesn't check the rest of the vehicle, and Kurt Russell gets quite flustered about this. Anyway, it goes on his way. Kurt Russell goes to the sheriff's office. The sheriff says, can't contact the FBI for about 20, they won't even look at your case for about 12 hours. And then Kurt Russell goes back to the diner. This is where Jack Noseworthy comes in. Jack Noseworthy actually does quite a good job. Actually, I was quite convinced of him at first. The part that the thing that it built, the thing, huge spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So I'm assuming you've seen Breakdown quite a few times. I thought Jack Noseworthy was extremely put on that act quite well, and actually had me convinced. He's a good actor. He's a good actor. Kurt Russell re-enters Bell's Diner, and the main bartender guy, he gets very defensive, and this is his domain, this is his territory. No one's going to mess with it. No one's going to fuck with it. And there's a bit of a gag because one of the customers sends Kurt Russell into the toilet, and then he's finding a woman throwing up in the toilet, and then this bartender is totally uncooperative, and so Kurt Russell decides to he takes the receipts from the bartender guy and looks through them, and he gets a shotgun pulled on him. And I think at this point, if I was Kurt Russell's character, I would sort of be cluing to the fact that the bartender's in on it. He's definitely in on it. And that's when, what happens next? Kurt Russell speaks to Jack Noseworthy, right? And Jack Noseworthy gives him, it's a bit of a play, it's a bit of a thing because the bartender's in on it, and yet a little bit of an act is put on, because when the bartender comes out and Jack turns around to him, and the bartender's like, watch yourself, you shut up. It's just to try to get Kurt Russell into the, the bait, the hook, line, and sinker. What happens next? What happens next? Actually, what happens next in this movie is, I had the idea of while I was watching it I know I didn't have that idea. You sometimes while I was watching it upstairs, I'll film a bit. Next. Who's next? Kurt Russell is driving, and all of a sudden, this Earl guy, the Earl guy, is behind him, and then Kurt Russell breaks through a fence. They get him up onto the cliff. Kurt Russell drives down into the water. Now that kind of car, I don't know if it really could, pretty banged up after that. And then he sees Jack again. That's the next. He sees Jack, and Kurt Russell's in the trunk of the car after that. The hood gets lifted, and then Jack goes, "Are you alright, mister?" And he, "You alright?" And then he splashes the beer on him, and he takes his head off, and he changes personality, changes character. I thought that was really well done, actually, and also someone else who's really good at that was Sam Rockwell, and also Edward Norton in Primal Fear, and Sam Rockwell in The Green Mile. And The Green Mile is like, and then he does this, I can't remember what the action is, but he's like, he headbutts him or something. Well, that's why Sam Rockwell, I haven't seen the movie in many years, Sam Rockwell, Tom Hanks, and he's coming in, he's walking in, and Tom Hanks says, "This one's out of it," and Sam Rockwell's like, and all of a sudden he's like, and he goes about like that, anyway. Uh, Edward Norton does a great job in Primal Fear, which is like, you in there, you in there, you in there, you in there, come on, come out, come out. Hello, you in there? Anyway, I'm getting to it. Yeah, so they're on. Next is they're on the cliff. Up on the cliff, and we see J.T. Walsh again, and some of them. J.G. Walsh says, "You're a hard man to track down." It's like, oh, well, I wouldn't have had that in the script. I would have had something different. I would have said something different. I would have said like something creepy, like "Hello, we meet again," or something like that. And Kurt Russell says too much. He keeps going on his wife. Yeah, fair enough. He's asking about his wife. Of course, no, he's going to ask about his wife. But he keeps on going about certain, like, what do you want from us? What do you want from us? I wouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't say nothing. I would ask about my wife. There's only so much you can do in that situation. I mean, actually, no. I take that back. There's a lot you can do with different words. And I wouldn't have used the words that Kurt Russell uses in that. I would have done different script writing than that. J.T. Walsh. And they direct him down. They said, "You've got to go down there to the banks of the town." And I mean, geez, look, I suppose because I watched Taken 2 just before that, right? Oh, how am I going for time? Finally realised the time. Oh, the time. Give me some time. Give me some time. I got the time ticket in my head. That's Anthrax. I don't like that album though. 28 minutes. I gotta stop. Oh shit! I probably gotta stop, and I've gotta take this upstairs, transfer the file, come back and keep filming, because I can only film for 30 minutes at a time on this. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go upstairs and do that, okay? Because camera's going to run out in 2 minutes. Alright, okay, so I will... Okay. Oh, there's one. Whoop, 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 whoop. What's that? It's Jack Nicholson, Batman, Joker 989. Whoop, 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 whoop. I thought of a few more things. Now, when Kurt Russell stops that cop, right? Something that doesn't happen. And there's so many faults in this movie. Something that doesn't happen. So, the cop says to Kurt Russell, stay back, you stay back. But, okay, so what he doesn't do, he doesn't check Kurt Russell for a weapon, and he doesn't check J.T. Walsh for a weapon, because J.T. Walsh, his character is the kind of guy that's going to have a gun on him. And if that cop had have checked all the truck and started checking down there, I think, because Kurt Russell's wife was either hidden in the very back of the truck or underneath there. I'm not too sure where J.T. Walsh had her butt. The character had her butt. If that cop had checked it, if he had checked the truck thoroughly, and if he had found the place where she was and said, I need to check this, I think J.T. Walsh would have said, go ahead, officer. And then when he found his wife, he would have said, what the bloody hell's going on here? Now, I think J.T. Walsh is the kind either would have had a gun on him or gone back up in the truck to get the gun, and I think he would have shot that cop. There's a good chance of it. Or if that cop had been able to go for his revolver first, and so J.T. in that situation, if the cop had been able to take control of that situation, then J.T. Walsh would have been in custody, or if J.T. Walsh had tried to be a bit sly, a bit, dirty, and he probably would have ended up shooting the cop. So he was not searched. So the cop arrives in the scene, and I think also, because J.T. Walsh doesn't live in that town, so the cop didn't recognise him. There's a big thing that I do want to... Oh yeah, look, at the bank. Oh, and also, when Kurt Russell goes down to the bank, none of that town's under surveillance. They were bluffing him. There was no surveillance. They weren't listening in. Nothing like that was happening. And the guy who Kurt Russell thought might have been listening to that other sort of semi-cowboy guy, he wasn't listening in. His actions just happened to to imitate that a little bit. They just imitated that a bit. But that guy wasn't listening, and he had nothing to do with it. They were just trying to scare him. Nothing was under surveillance, and he could have told the bank teller what was going on. He could have. I mean, what do you do? He could have. I mean, what do you do in that situation? What do you do? When Kurt Russell answers the phone when he leaves the bank, I would not have had him saying, "It's me." I would have picked up the phone and said, either said nothing or yes. And once again, I mean, what do you do in that situation? I wouldn't have said it's me. It was a good thing that Kurt Russell thought that knife is in his jacket. Yeah, look, you know, we can go for that. And he gets into the truck. I would, if I had been Earl, I would have searched Kurt Russell. I would have searched him and seen anything. That just occurred to me. Look, the really big one is, look, and the cop thing. So the parts tow truck guy, the cop comes along, he turns around, Kurt Russell gets out, the cop demands that, the cop for some reason doesn't really recognise Kurt Russell and demands that Kurt Russell gets on the ground, and then Earl shoots the cop. Kurt Russell goes down the hill, comes back up. In this situation, I would have helped the cop more. I would have stayed with the cop for a bit. I would have helped the cop more. You know, running with the script though, like with the idea of the story, I think I wouldn't have deserted. Okay, so separating it all, I wouldn't have deserted the cop. I would have stayed with the cop. I would have helped the cop. Okay, I just would have. In regard to the script and storyline, I would have helped the cop. I just would have helped the cop regardless, but would have helped that when the cop gets shot. Look, I think Kurt Russell was under the impression that this guy's going to live, but I would have helped the cop more. Now, at the truck stop, there's a huge thing at the, and I think it's a bit of a mistake. I was tempted to do this best this view upstairs, but I'll just come down here. Now, that big truck stop where all the truckies are, okay, where all the truckies are. When Kurt Russell is running toward the truck, wouldn't that attract some attention? And he gets to the truck, and he's trying to get underneath the truck. There's about 8 extras. There's about 8 people that see him. There's at least 6 different people that see him. Okay, there's 4 to 6 different people that see him. Don't tell me there's a whole bunch of people you see in the background, and a couple of them see Kurt Russell. Don't you think they would have alerted someone? Hey, that guy just took right out of that truck. What's going on here? And don't tell me that JT, well, I know it's creative license, but don't tell me JT Walsh can't see Kurt Russell running and then getting under the truck. I mean, that's where the movie, I mean, geez, I mean, then someone would call the cops and they'd radio the truck and say, hey, someone's under your truck. That would happen very quickly. Another part where Kurt Russell is on the side of the truck. He's going toward the front cabin. You don't tell me that JT Walsh is not the kind of guy that's checking his side views every other 5 seconds or so. When I'm driving, I check my rearview mirror about every 10 seconds. So Kurt Russell's cut. When that is a big fault in the movie, JT Walsh is going to be checking that mirror. Kurt Russell at one point is in total view. I know, creative license, keep the movie going. And then, so that don't tell me that throughout the rest of that drive on the truck, that no one passing by sees that Kurt Russell is sitting in between. the front cabin and that truck space. But when we get to the farm, he's elsewhere. There is a little thing. There is when his wife, she's still alive. And at one point, Kurt Russell's up in the barn. He's looking at his wife. She's it's a little thing, but if those guys are looking at her and she recognises her husband, she recognises him up there, the guys are looking at saying, oh, she's looking at something. It's a little thing, but yeah. Anything else about the movie I can think of? I mean, anything else? What's happening with what? That all these years, J.T. Walsh has managed to hide this from his wife. It could be the scenario in the script where they're both in on it, but would that have been less interesting for the audience? And his wife, and kids are such snoopy beaks. I mean, kids get curious about everything. Wouldn't these kids at some point gone in there and discovered what his dad is doing, or was it J.T. Walsh says, "Son, stay out of there"? I don't think you should give a kid a Swiss Army knife either. We're talking about the 1990s, though. What else is there? There's I'll just say this. Some of the lines that that older guy is given, and I'm jumping ahead here, in the chase after this, there's a big chase and that older guy's given some crappy lines just to mutter, but so it's a bit of a big fault, because I was just thinking that Kurt Russell jumps on top of the roof, J.T. Walsh hears something, and then J.T. Walsh gets back at 6 a.m. and just make breakfast, and say, and you wouldn't be I don't, but you wouldn't just, you get home and say, friends are coming over, make breakfast. You might get a slap for that. But, you know, there's a certain generation that are like that. What was it? Kurt Russell goes into the house. I mean, all that part it's good drama. I mean, it's good. It's done. The first time I ever saw this movie, I thought that certain parts were done very well. We back out to the barn. The wife sees what's going on for the first time, which must have been a huge shock for her. Huge shock for her. And then the rest is, yeah, it's good generic sort of thriller stuff, like generic, yeah, okay, yeah, go find the keys, and then of course, but that Jack Noseworthy has, as soon as that old man gets shot, when Kurt Russell knocks the kid, like when the gun goes off and hits the old guy in the shoulder, Jack Noseworthy ducks out the door, and then they're on the, Jack goes out and gets the guys out of the, because if Jack doesn't exit the scene, those guys can't get out of the barn. So someone has to exit that scene just after the old man gets shot, because otherwise those guys can't get out of the barn. The thing, they're on the highway, and I mean, look at the end, right at the end. Should they have let J.T. Walsh live, or they don't really want to be looking over their shoulder for the rest of their life? And is that, you know, they don't want to be looking over their shoulders for the rest of their life? Is that called for? I thought when I watched it the other day, I was kind of thought about that for the first time, and I'm like, they've seen him move, and they've finished the job. Because otherwise, either, well, is he going to come up? Is he going to come after you, die slowly, or you're going to be looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life? And they decided to not opt for that option. They let the truck go. Yes, and I still think it's one of possibly Kurt Russell's worst acting jobs, mainly because of the lines that he was given, and because the way that he executed that. However, it's a fairly decent thriller movie if you've never seen it before. It carries along well if you can forgive the major faults about it, if you can overlook them, if you can just wave them off and think, I'm just having kind of fun with this. Surely J.T. Walsh can see Kurt Russell on the side of the truck in one of those moments, and you know, the police officer doesn't search the truck properly, doesn't search J.T. Walsh for a weapon, doesn't search Kurt Russell for a weapon. I thought Earl, the guy who played Earl, what's his name? The guy who played Earl, he did well. Oh, McGee? I have to look up, do I? It's McGee, isn't it? I feel a bit exhausted. MC Gainey played Earl, and he did so well. And it was Sheriff Lynn, Rex Lynn played Sheriff Boyd. J.T. Walsh was in A Few Good Men. It's quite good. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Breakdown, the movie that every time I watch it, I'll say I'm never I'm watching it ever again. I'm done with it. So there's some big major faults in the movie, but I think that you can pretty much have. Hasn't aged well, but it is a bit of fun and does have some suspenseful moments. If you've never seen it before, it has some suspense. Well, you probably shouldn't even watch this if you've never seen it before. Do you think it still has some suspenseful moments in it, that it's entertaining? I don't think it's aged well. Ironically, it's fun to watch occasionally, and just as it is a movie called Retroactive with James Belushi. That's fun. But yeah, Breakdown, made in 1990. Who directed it? I just took my. I'm wondering who directed this. Let's find out. I've taken the page off. I'll head up again. Wait a moment. Who directed it? Breakdown. Oh, it's on cast. Breakdown. Cast and crew. Directed by. The MID. I want to know who directed this. Directed Jonathan Mostow. Jonathan Mostow directed it. And Jonathan Mostow wrote it, and Sam Montgomery wrote it. At the time, for what it was in that year, good enough, good. I mean, I saw the faults in it the first time I saw it. It doesn't hold up. It doesn't stand the test of time, but yet it's entertaining. It's entertaining in a sense. Still entertaining. Yes. Conclude. Thanks for watching. Midnight Charlie Man. Patrick. Thanks for watching. Yeah. What did Kurt Russell do after that? Something better. Concluded. Thanks for watching.